This is Bad Movies We Love, part of the Shice Podcast Network.
If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.
Hello, Bad Movie lovers, and welcome to Season 5 of Bad Movies We Love. I am your host, Nick Scheist.
The master of the stupid stuff!
If you have been listening along throughout this journey, number one, thank you, and number two, you'll be pleased with the slate that we have for the new year, and if you're just joining the fray, welcome to the resistance. Since we are still getting our bearings in the new year, I'm going to quickly go over some 2026 announcements. The Bad Movies We Love Best of 2025 episode is on the way, where we'll be taking a look at the best quote-unquote bad movies of 2025 using our custom scoring criteria. So keep an eye out for that later this month. And starting this season, there are going to be two new additions to the main feed. Number one, Bad Movies Monthly, a once-a-month recap episode looking back at the theme and the movies we covered during the month, and then scoping out the current release landscape for any new movies that may fit the mold for future episodes of the show. And number two, we're going to be doing On the Bubble. So once a month, a movie whose score falls just outside the scoring criteria will get a special Bad Movies We Love exemption to be included on the show's lineup for the month. And for January, the theme is sci-fi, so that pick is going to be the TV movie Not Quite Human, which clocks in with a Bad Movies We Love score of 63.25. And the Resistance Members Only tier will have new episodes of Rom-Comathon, Bimon Sci-Fi-Con, and potentially a new Bad Movie Futures episode in January. Plus, we are finally kicking down the door, and we'll be covering some good movies we love in 2025. You know what? That's a pretty good return on your investment for just $5 a month. So check out the show notes for sign-up details. On to today's episode. I was joined by Sam Panico. He's the host of BNS About Movies and the co-host of Drive-In Asylum Double Feature. And we got together to cut the choice meats and talk about Antonio Margheriti's Italian sci-fi caveman adaptation of Yor the Hunter from the Future.
The shit that Yor doesn't know about his life is more interesting than my life.
On paper, we're going to take a caveman and we're going to add dinosaurs, and then there's going to be people from the future and spaceships, and don't worry about that guy in the Darth Vader helmet.
When Yor kills that dinosaur and he goes, yay!
We're going to axe this thing in the head and blood is going to come out.
Well, he's doing the best he can, all right? They're like, he's a real problem in the classroom.
What you've shown us is a brute who murders dinosaurs and drinks their blood.
I like these people. They seem really nice. I'm like, they're going to die in about 30 seconds.
It's impressive. I mean, the curling iron, I guess, is somewhere in the cave next to the dinosaur bones.
What are we doing in heaven without genitals?
This like unbridled enthusiasm for the possibilities of filmmaking.
And like, I can also admit that there's parts of this movie that are dumb, but like, it's good dumb. Like, this is like the kind of dumb that makes me happy.
It burns like fire.
The blood of your enemy makes you stronger. Drink.
I'd rather stay weak. Who are you? Where do you come from?
I'm Yor the Hunter. I come from the high mountain.
Thank you for saving Kala. She is the most precious thing in my life. I am Pag. Her father was my king.
Help me cut the choice meats.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today, I'm joined by Sam Panico from BNS About Movies, both the website and the podcast. Sam, thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Me too. I had never seen this movie, so I got the delight of seeing it for the first time. But before we dive into all the details, I just want to give you an opportunity first to sort of just introduce yourself and maybe like how you got started in the sort of film podcasting website stuff.
Yeah. I'm Sam Panico. Obviously, let me see. I've always watched way too many movies in my life. Like I never slept really as a kid. So like the biggest joy to me was going through the TV guide and circling what movies I was going to watch every week and prepping myself. And then just trying to find the weirdest, oddest movies, which was harder back then. You know, you watched whatever was on a UHF channel and then video, I'm 53, so I'm a little old. So, I knew what video stores had. I would drive to other video stores. And then now we can get anything at any time. So it's like now the hunt is a lot different. So about 7 or 8 years ago, I was job hunting and I was trying to do something so I didn't go nuts. I'm like, why don't I start a website that's all about all the movies I watch? And it just kind of took it from there. My wife is the B in B&S About Movies, Becca, not the B. You know what I'm saying? She's wonderful. But so it started doing a podcast. She didn't really like doing it that as much as me. And then I started it back up about 2 or 3 years ago. And then I also do a streaming show on Saturday nights with my friend Bill, Driving Asylum double feature. And he also does the Driving Asylum zine too. So it's fun because that way I can kind of justify buying all the movies I buy because I'm doing something with them. I'm writing about them or communicating with folks about it. And then the idea of like community building is really strong with me where it's like, oh, like I can evangelize for this movie. I can get someone else to watch it and get excited about it. And there's something really cool to that.
Yeah. That's pretty much in line with sort of the spirit of what we do here at the show. Sometimes it's not always stuff that is maybe as sort of small or underseen as a movie like this one, but this movie definitely fits the bill of like a so bad it's good kind of a movie. So I think we're in the right territory, but I'll let you do the honors and introduce the audience to the film that we're talking about today.
This movie played the U.S. though. I mean, Columbia struck 1,400 prints of it. They had a billboard on Santa Monica Boulevard. They had big billboards for it. They had a press kit. This played on, it was a big VHS era one for me. I first saw this movie. We went to see, I want to say it was Super Fuzz and Super Dad, the Bob Crane movie together at the drive-in. And the trailer it was either during that or my favorite double feature I ever saw was Battle Beyond the Stars and Star Crash together, which is an insane double feature. And we saw this trailer for this, and the trailer is incredible for this movie. Like it pushes together everything into 90 seconds. That's awesome. Probably the best way to watch this movie is the trailer. And I watched it and I said to my dad, I said, that looks like the greatest movie ever made. And he said, that looks like a real piece of shit. And and that kind of is the dividing line of what I love about movies. Right. And I realized at that point, my parents' first date was going to see Bird with the Crystal Plumage. And for years they talked about how much they hated it.
Okay.
Yeah. And how it was a movie they didn't understand. And I think that was my rebellion, was to fall in love with giallo and Italian movies and try to find them. And I think Star Crash is a great introduction for Italian movies. This is too. But man, Yor is, it's based on a Yugoslavian comic book. And the original series that it comes from is about 200 minutes long. It was a 4-part TV series. And then when it came out in the US, they decided to chop it up into this. So there are a lot of holes in the plot. I can fully admit that. There's also a lot of times that it seems like Yor is the most inept hero ever. That's because we're only seeing about half of what happened. So yes, does he cause 4 different civilizations to collapse because he's an idiot? Yeah, but it's there's more. They explain it more in the longer one. He doesn't just meet the second love interest and she gets bonked in the head 2 minutes later. It's a couple episodes later. Things actually get to breathe. There are more dinosaurs in it too, which is really why we're coming. But yours kind of man, it's a combination Conan, Tarzan, Star Wars, everything. It's everything Italy loves, right? And they're it's just a whole, it's kind of sort of like other movies. It's why I love Italian movies, because you start it's a Star Wars ripoff, but no, it's got so much weird stuff in it. And there's blue skin cavemen people, there's recycled costumes. John Steiner shows up near the end of the movie. There's a Darth Vader kind of thing with him. Yeah. And also where are Yor's parents? And then the real name of this is World of Yor, was the TV series name. The movie name in Italy was Yor the Hunter. In America, they're like, no one's going to go see that movie. They think it's Deer Hunter or something. So let's call it Hunter from the Future, and thereby spoiling the big reveal at the end of the movie. And you're like, oh, like in America, we're like, oh yeah, he's always been from the future. No, we're supposed to think this is in caveman time. I really don't know how else to describe this movie. It's insane because like a lot happens. Like if you're one of those people who are like, yeah, nothing happened in this movie, this is not the movie for you. Like stuff starts happening. He runs down a hillside screaming in the first like 30 seconds and then kills a stegosaurus, drinks its blood, and then has all these women dancing for him. And it's just like, I guess we're in the story. Like it's like in media res, but not. I love this movie. So nothing I say is good. It's all going to be very biased. So like if you listen to this and you're like, this movie sounds pretty good, listener, listening to it, you're like, just know that like my dad's review of it was pretty spot on. My review is addled by love of really bad movies, and not just I don't like to punch down and make fun of them. Like it's like this is what I love. Like these are the movies I love, and I get more out of these movies than I would anything that's going to come out in Hollywood these years. You know, like this is a definite like 12. My taste is like 10 or 12-year-old me, just grown up, and this movie is definitely 10 or 12-year-old me.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think the general probably audience for this movie was, you know, younger kids, people who liked Star Wars. I would say it's not just a Star Wars ripoff, although it is. I mean, if you look at the poster, here, what is not pictured is the many UFOs in the background. So even the poster itself is like, there's gonna be this other element of the story, but it is very sword and sandals. You know, I was like, okay, there's definitely some like Beastmaster type of elements that I'm familiar with. He is running around shirtless. It's sort of setting it in the caveman era too, is taking it even like further away from civilization. It's like, I think end of the Stone Age is when it's technically set, although I don't think dinosaurs would have been there at the time of humans.
Quest for Fire and Clan of the Cave Bear were both huge in Italy, like especially Quest for Fire. Like Italians loved that movie, so you got a lot of ripoffs of that too, like Adam and Eve versus the Cannibals that Severin's putting out this month. Iron Master, which is a great George Eastman movie where he has like a giant lion head. It played American theaters too amazingly. And that these movies were so cheap that it was easy to bring them over here. And like the Italians had already made Peplum sword and sandal movies. So like when Conan was a big success, they're like, we know how to make that movie. We know how to make it cheap. We already have the sets from 30 years ago. And they probably look just as Stone Age, even more Stone Age now. So like, it's really easy for them to make these movies. And Red Brown, who was over there making a ton of movies. I love that on this poster, he doesn't have the same hair as he does in the movie because he shot the poster art like 6 months later. And they're like, should we get Corinne Cléry for the poster? Like, don't worry about it. Let's just get some model. And it's like, the poster really doesn't have anything to do with it, but it's very Star Wars. And it's very like, oh, there's a UFO. It's very like early 80s where it's like, we love barbarians and we love UFOs. And He-Man. It's very He-Man.
I mean, look, they ain't wrong. But this movie, you can correct me if I am incorrect on any of this stuff, but directed by Antonio Margheriti. Margheriti. Screenplay by Margheriti and Robert D. Bailey, but based on the novel or comic, right, by Juan Zanotto and Ray Collins.
Yeah.
Starring Red Brown in the lead. And Corinne, Cléry, and Josh Steiner are the other two sort of main characters. I mean, there's also the future lady. Is that
Anna?
Yeah, that's
she's Carol Andra. Yeah. And Pag is my favorite person in this. That's Alan Collins is his Americanized name. That's really Luciano Pigozzi. And if you watch any Italian horror movies, 90% chance you're going to see him in it.
Yeah, like, he's super familiar. I was like, I definitely know who this guy is. I've seen him in something. I'm not sure what it was.
Blood and Black Lace, Baron Blood. He shows up in all Margheriti's movies. He's like Margheriti's lucky charm. Like he always shows up and he like kind of helps. He's in Strike Commando with Red Brown too. So it's that he's in a lot of stuff with him. He was kind of kind of like a Donald Pleasance of these movies, like where he would just show up and horror fans would be like, okay, cool, he's in it. It has my. The really crazy thing about the actors in this one, so a lot of the actors in this, especially the K people, are all Turkish actors, and they were picked if they were big and strong or whatever. But one of them, Ayteki Akaya, was Captain America in the movie Three Giant Men. I don't know if you've ever seen Three Giant Men. Oh man, it's got Spider-Man as a bad guy, Santo and Captain America fighting him, and Spider-Man has giant eyebrows that come out of his mask, and he kills people with chainsaws. It's a crazy Turkish movie. But Red Brown was also the second Captain America, the one that in the TV movies.
Okay.
So there's two Captain Americas in this movie, which is crazy. Red Brown wore a motorcycle helmet as Captain America. He was 1978 Cap, and he fought evil Christopher Lee in two TV movies. They're charitably not good, but I saw them when I was 6. So like Red Brown to me as like 6-year-old me was like, oh my God, he's the greatest. When I did I have a video for this on YouTube, and it has like a 3-minute long screaming sequence of Red Brown just screaming. Really, he's also in Howling 2. He was like always got into these sequels, right? Like he's in Space Mutiny too. So if you watch Mystery Science Theater, Space Mutiny is a big movie in that world. So yeah, he's the other crazy thing is his voice in this. That's not his voice because you know they shoot. Yeah, it's Gregory Snegoff, and he was the voice of Scott Bernard on the cartoon Robotech, which I find amazing. He did tons of anime, any Studio Ghibli stuff in the U.S. Like that's it. His voice is all over them. So, and then the other wild thing is that movie, There's a movie, The Humanoid.
Yeah,
Corinne Cléry's in that movie, and all the costumes that the bad guys wear are also from that movie. So, like the Overlord's costume, the bad guys, like they all wear costumes. And that movie was only out like a year or two after. That movie is the biggest Star Wars ripoff. Like instead of Chewbacca, they have Richard Kiel, Jaws, play somebody. Like it's very. If you like the droids and you want the droids to be heroes, go with The Humanoid. It's a mess.
Well, you beat me to the punch on one of the trivia questions, so
I'm
I'll
sorry.
try. No, you're good.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. You're getting full credit for that question right now, and then there'll still be trivia later. There's other stuff, and then we'll get to the bonus wheel. And I love
Corinne Cléry a lot because she's in Moonraker, so probably American audiences.
Fun girl,
yeah, and she's in the Story of O, the Hitchhike, which is awesome. I love that movie. David Hess is in it. It's a David Hess made from. He made like a bunch of Italian movies to cash in on his fame of being, like a maniac killer, and that's one of them. And then she's also in one of Fulci's last movies, The Devil's Honey. She's the evil wife in it, which is pretty rad.
I've only seen a couple of Fulci's somewhat.
Oh my God,
recently. So I mean, I was only introduced to Fulci.
Oh, okay.
Semi recently.
The Devil's Honey is a late one. Like, watch a whole bunch of them and like get caught. But this one's and there's another Fulci actress in this because the girl who played Eva, Carol Andre, she's in White Fang, one of Fulci's first like American hits. Like he made White Fang and challenged to White Fang in like 1973. So that was super early. Yeah. So I'm a big Fulci fan. Like I think I'm down to like 14 movies left, but I'm watching all the early 60s stuff and his musicals and comedies, and I'm just being a completist at this point. I got to get through them.
That's fair. But I think you had mentioned Mystery Science Theater, or was I just thinking about it and we telepathied each other? I think you mentioned it, but the streaming availability of this movie is mostly the riff tracks.
Yeah,
and so I had to like do some extra legwork to get myself to be able to watch the movie. I was like, look, I'm not opposed to watching the riff tracks, but like I've never seen the movie, so I want to actually see the movie. I was able to find it. It is available on Internet Archive, but even on the Internet Archive, it's still like you got to dig a little bit to get there. So I was able to find it and watch it in its entirety, and I'm glad that I did. But we're going to go to the tail of the tape here and take a look at what the ratings were when I went to scour this for the show. And so not that bad, honestly. Better than I expected, I think, from what I saw of the film. But it has an IMDb of 4.4. It has a Rotten Tomatoes critic score, though, of 14%. Audience score 47, though. Letterbox of 2.6, that's a 52. and a Google user's rating of 53%. So not ultimately horrible, gives us a Bad Movies We Love total score of 42 out of 100. So kind of in the sweet spot, honestly, for the most fun kinds of movies to talk about on the show. I think as we creep up into the 50s, it's like we're having conversations about whether or not the movie is maybe really secretly a good movie and that kind of thing. I think here we are very safely in the camp of this isn't a good movie, but the way that it is bad is very ambitious. It's very big. It sort of wears its heart on its sleeve in a lot of ways. And it's bad in a way that it feels just very earnest and genuine and not like, hey, you're wasting our time, kind of. It's, yeah, it operates on a wavelength of just sort of not irony, but this unbridled enthusiasm for the possibilities of filmmaking. On paper, we're going to take a caveman and we're going to add dinosaurs, and then there's going to be people from the future and spaceships, and don't worry about that guy in the Darth Vader helmet. That's just there because we love Star Wars. It does all of that stuff, I think, in a very sort of honest way.
It's very close to the comic book, though, with Overlord and the way, because the comic came out in 74. So it's between 74 and 77. So there's actually Antarctic Press has a 3-issue, the first American reprints of it in English, and those just came out.
Oh,
so
cool.
It's been really cool to see them. The art is very lyrical, and the whole thing is very trippy. There's almost drug sequences in it and flashbacks. The art's beautiful, but it's amazing how close they got to it with the time they had. But that's what I love about it. Margheriti's really known for his use of miniatures. And he does a lot with no budget, which I love. And this is pre-CGI. How can you make all this stuff under this budget? He said of this movie, he said it was a mess. A lot of it doesn't work. He said, but it's a good party movie. You can watch this with your friends. And this is the kind of movie I would love to watch this in an audience. I just got the Troll 2 4K, and I love Troll 2. I love watching people. I saw it in the theater a couple of years ago, and the experience of seeing it with normal people that don't know what's coming in Troll 2, people were losing their minds laughing, and they're and you just hear people going what is this movie? Yor has a lot of those moments too, especially the theme song is out of control.
Awesome.
It's very much like The Touch or that the 80s kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Oliver Onions, who did the music, it's two brothers that did it, but I love that their name refers to how you make a martini. You either have it with all over onions. That's where it's from. And I love they got the assignment for this movie. Guido and Maurizio De Angelis are their names. They got the assignment for this movie, and you know what this movie needs? It needs a disco-y, hard rock, but also sing-alongy kind of song. It's very Flash Gordon, because Queen did. You can tell they're yes. Maybe it's Flash Gordon soundtrack. But they just went crazy, and they're here's the song. And every time it comes up in the movie, when you hear that keyboard part start, you're holy shit, this movie is going to get awesome. And that's what I love. But the song is, I guess the kids would say, a banger. It definitely is one.
It's great. I mean, the movie starts with that sort of sequence of him running down the hillside, and we get the theme song, and I guess I wouldn't have expected the movie to have a custom hero theme song for him.
Yeah.
So I think that gives it this little extra something. And it also just reinforces the idea that while the movie is kind of, it's borrowing from a lot of different already existing things, it still wants to make its name for itself within that field. And having a legitimately good, fun sort of 80s pop song to go along with that is pretty cool.
Yeah. And I love that once we start with this movie, it rarely takes a breath. We're constantly going to other locations and meeting other people. It's, you know what I mean? And don't get used to anybody, because they're probably going to get killed because yours screws it up. And there's just so much happening. And that's what I love about it. It's it's a very hard movie. It's a very warm blanket feeling movie to me, because I just love this era of Italian filmmaking. It's the last gasp of Italy being able to make these ripoffs. By the end of this decade, pretty much over. And this one just works. It's a great like superhero-y kind of movie. And I really love Conan ripoffs more than I love Conan, but I love Conan ripoffs even more. So it's like when like Sword and the Sorcerer and those kind of movies happen, like that's what I love. So like this is definitely in that wheelhouse too.
Well, like, yeah, Conan is a movie that, for the most part, other than maybe like one moment, takes itself seriously as a sort of like period genre film.
Yeah.
And this movie doesn't take itself anywhere near as seriously, but it has so much fun sort of toying with the idea of like, yeah, we're like kind of being serious, but also not so much. We're not like overly serious about this, because if that were the case, there would be a lot of different decisions being made at the director's level, at the script level, at the maybe like hairstyling level of this film. So having fun with that, I think, is pretty cool. And yeah, there's that whole sword and sorcery genre is, I think, a lot of fun for the bravado of it. And so to maybe deconstruct it into something that like takes all of the visual aesthetics maybe that we like about it, and it's like, hey, you know what, we're going to take the way that this movie looks and feels, and then we're just going to inject a whole different tone on top of that.
Oh yeah, this is why I loved He-Man as a kid, because like when the first wave came out, we didn't have the cartoon and the comic. You know what I mean? Like it was like you just had the toys. And in the original comics, He-Man was a caveman, and he suddenly found all this high technology that was left behind from another world. And it was almost like kind of weird, occulty. Do you know what I mean? Like strange. And like yours very similar to that, versus He-Man later became, oh, he's Prince Adam, and here's this person, and we have to set up who everybody is. The first like year of it is nuts. Like they weren't even sure if certain characters were good guys or bad guys. And I loved that. And that's what I love about this movie, where it's like, yeah, we have a caveman, but also there's UFOs and there's this whole floating island. And why does he wear this medallion? And why does the other girl have the medallion? And it's like, you can like obsess about it like me, or you can just watch it and be like, hey, there's some really attractive people in this movie, and there's a lot of paper mache dinosaurs, and there are some really funny dialogue. One of the first lines in this is whenever he kills that Stegosaurus, and he goes, help me pick the choice meats. My wife and I say it to each other all the time, like cut up the choice meats. And then he starts drinking blood out of the dinosaur, and he says to Peg, he goes, the blood of your enemies makes you strong. And Peg goes, I would rather be weak.
Yeah.
Which is great. I love it. Like, could you imagine if you were one of these cave people, the youngest girl in your village just wants to play with this baby dinosaur. She gets attacked. We think she's going to get killed. And then this maniac comes running down a mountain, kills it, and just covers his face with blood. And he's like, let's have a party. That's the first minute of this movie.
Yeah, it intensifies quickly, because it's one thing to just like rescue maybe like the damsel from the dinosaur, but to like violently chop it up in the way that he does, drink its blood, and then be like, all right, help me skin this thing, and we're going to have a barbecue.
This is a large monster, and he has very, very small, non-sharp seeming axe. It's like Thor's second axe. Do you know what I mean? Like Stormbringer or whatever it was. Like, it does not look like it can do much damage. Yet Yor that strong? Is he that powerful?
Well, that's what I was asking myself.
He has no shirt on, and he's brave enough to fight a dinosaur. No armor, no shirt. Like, I wouldn't fight a dinosaur with a gun. He's just like, yeah, let's do this. And then like, it's wild that he just like cuts its throat, and you're like, man, Italy never ceases to be like, you know what? If there is an animal in this movie, we have to kill it and make you watch and upset you, because like they never got tired of the Mondo movies where they killed animals, and this one doesn't have any real animal violence, thank God.
Fortunately, yes.
But you know that like Margheriti was like, can we kill a monkey? And they're like, no more. We can't do that anymore. No more. And he's like, okay. So
we'll make a dinosaur and then kill it. But I still felt bad for the Triceratops a little bit, because I'm like, this dinosaur's just being a dinosaur, and Yor decided to murder it for some reason.
There was I'm from near Cedar Point, the theme park, and they used to have a ride outside it at like a carny kind of place where you rode a little like people mover through the woods, and they had fake dinosaurs. And then at some point they would tell everybody to get the machine gun. They had like toy machine guns, and you were supposed to shoot at the dinosaurs. And like I was like 6, and I walked down the tram and I said, "Everybody, put your guns down. We've been trying to fight dinosaurs all these years, and they're a lot." It was like my Jurassic Park moment. My mom's like, "Will you settle down?" And I'm like, "These kids are killing dinosaurs. Like I've wanted to see a dinosaur my whole life." Yours very similar. Yours like, I got to kill this thing. I get it. Like if you saw Corinne Cléry with her giant hair being menaced by a dinosaur, you'd be like, you know what? I gotta save her. But she's not really a shrinking violet in this movie, though. She holds her own a couple times, which is kind of.
She whips out a knife and she's like, "I'm ready to kill this other lady that's competition." Like no hesitation.
They hate each other so much. That's my favorite part of the movie. Is like she has only known Yor for maybe a day, right? But as soon as she sees like, that scene where she comes out dancing for him, like she's marked him. She's like, "This is my man." And I don't care if there's any other women here. Like we've already survived all of my people being killed and getting kidnapped by these blue skins and all this other stuff. How dare this ancient woman that lives inside a glass cave or a crystal cave with mummies? This is really getting ahead of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, how? Like, I don't know. Yeah, she's awesome. Like I love her. And I love that like she like wants to talk to Pag about relationships a couple times. And she's like, I just am in love with Yor. And he's like, you have to understand this woman is more his type. And like Pag's trying nicely to tell her, we're cave people. And Yor is like evolved. He is like, we are like monkeys to him. Do you know what I mean? And he has blonde hair and he knows how to use technology. Maybe not always right. He can use a hang glider, for example. Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know. They party it up though really quick after they kill that dinosaur. She's like, I'm gonna dance for this lunatic that just covered his face in blood.
It is off the walls with how they handle, I think, any notion of like male-female relationships in this movie. Yeah. All the way down to like the weird swinging tribe that they find on the beach. He's like, "Oh yeah, you showed up and you did us a favor, therefore my wife is yours, take her, no problem."
He seems very, very cuck, doesn't he? He's like, maybe I'll sit in the back of the cave while you take your spoils. And by that, I mean my wife. And you're like, dude, what are you doing? And his kids are right there. Don't do your weird swinging stuff around your kids.
Yeah, right? It's like, they found the hippie tribe. I'm like, okay, so.
And the hippie tribe, you're like, what's funny is like, I watched it one time with my wife. She's like, I like these people. They seem really nice. I'm like, they're going to die in about 30 seconds. How? A UFO is going to come and blast them out of the world. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's what happens.
Surprise laser guns. Well, let's take a moment here. We'll set the table for the audience that is listening half an hour in and saying, like, what on earth are these two talking about? You can correct me if I get something wrong here, sure. But Yor the Hunter from the Future started as a 1974 comic created by Argentinian writer Eugenio Juan Zepietro and artist Juan Zanotto, which was later adapted for the screen by Antonio Margheriti. Released in '83 during the post-Conan Sword and Sorcery boom, the film blends prehistoric fantasy with an unexpected sci-fi turn. Well, not so unexpected, but that openly echoes Star Wars. Shot in Turkey, including Cappadocia with those weird rock formations, the film was co-written and directed by Margheriti, who also then supervised the special effects alongside his son, Eduardo. Originally produced as a 4-part miniseries, as you mentioned, Yor was later reassembled into a feature film. The movie premiered in Italy in February of 1983, then hit U.S. theaters in August in a shorter cut distributed by Columbia. Margheriti later called it one of the most successful films of his career, with the movie earning just over $2.8 million in the U.S. It has since lived on through home video, including a 2018 Blu-ray release featuring commentary from Red
Milk
Brown.
Creek put it out. Yep.
Nice. And the Riff Tracks version of the film is the more readily available and popular one. It's rated better than the actual movie, so it's a little surprising, but that's the one that's readily available on streaming now.
This is a movie that I am shocked that a boutique label hasn't released like a bells and whistles version with the TV version. I have the TV. There used to be a site called Movies that is long gone now, and they had a copy of the miniseries, and I bought it. And it's wild. It's a lot different. There's definitely more monsters, and they go more places. It still is the basic story here. I think I wouldn't recommend that everybody hunt down the TV miniseries unless you're like if you become a Yor super fan, you're going to want more Yor. But like if for some people, this 88 minutes of the U.S. cut might be enough. I think the Italian cut's about 10 minutes longer.
Yeah, that's what I've read. But I've also saw that the 4-part series was 450-minute long episodes. So that's 200 minutes long. That's a lot of Yor.
Yeah, it's funny because Italy was doing that a lot, like at this time. Like a lot of the directors of these films that were big, like a couple years ago, had moved into TV because that was the budgets were similar, and then they could take the movies over here. So like Sergio Martino did a couple TV miniseries that turned into movies. There's like Private Crimes and a few others, and like Fulci did a series and The Houses of that have come out recently on Blu-ray here. So it's so weird that like they were able to chop this down. There's another movie of this era that Cannon put out, Sinbad, and it was made originally to be a TV series. And when Cannon saw it, they're like, "This is horrible," and they called Luigi Cosi in and said, "Can you fix this and make it into a 90-minute movie?" It's a good 90-minute movie. I can't imagine what other stuff they shot to make this longer, but it's like if you like this movie, you'd like Sinbad a lot, or the Hercules movies with Lou Ferrigno in it. They're very much all in the same world. They're, like you said, they're funny, but they're not trying to be funny, yet they're hilarious. And that's the best kind of funny to me. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I don't like the trauma, like, look how wacky we are. This is like earned funniness to me, where it's like these people believed in what they were doing.
Yeah, it's not like they're telling a joke. There's not like a setup and delivery of the humor. It's just sort of like situationally funny. Like some of the performances really lean into that. Like the tribesman where he's like, "Yeah, just take my wife, it's sorry, honey, you're going with him now." Or I think, the way that Overlord sort of he dies at the end, spoiler alert, with like a joust in him, like a jousting stick.
John Steiner is the most overacting actor too. Like, and I know that everything was dubbed, right? But like, he's very over the top and everything. So he's really probably the perfect Darth Vader. He's very like more Skeletor than Darth Vader, and it's just I love that there's stuff in it too. Like when the girl dies and she's like, "I'm having dreams are only dreams. Things are coming back to me. I see an island." She like starts to like all of a sudden like telling you all this stuff, and then she's like, "Kiss me quickly. The gods are calling me." And like he makes out with her like while she's dying. And it's like, what is going on? Like
he's got to get that one last kiss.
It's like a Pearl Jam cover. It's wild that like her kingdom for a long time has just been this ice cave, and she's sitting on this ice throne while a bunch of mummies
people. Yeah, not exactly sure.
And this movie has a lot of examples of another of my favorite Italian movie things. Many stuntmen in this got hurt. Right? Like there's no way any of these stuntmen like walked away the same. And like there's that scene where they're like fire swords and they're like whipping around at this. They're wearing really dry mummy cloth and there's just fire everywhere. The Dell'Acqua family did the stunts. They're in everything. Like one of the brothers, the Dell'Acqua brothers, he's not in this one, is the zombie on Fulci's zombie poster. But if you watch an Italian genre movie, you're probably seeing the one sister or the three brothers and the dad do stunts in this one, especially because there were a lot of Turkish actors too. They were probably like, look, life's cheap here, so let's throw people off. Like people get thrown off mountains. Like there's some dangerous stuff in this.
Yeah, and didn't Reb Brown like take a stunt axe to the face? And yeah, he was swollen.
That's what there's an IMDb thing on that, and I wonder that myself. I know that like the fight scenes in these movies are always just kind of like you're watching people fight that don't all speak the same language, and like I don't know how they blocked out the stuff. I think sometimes they just rolled, and like what you got was what you got. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that a lot in this. Reb's also in Robo War, which is a Predator Terminator hybrid ripoff.
This sounds awesome.
Oh my God. It's Bruno Mattei directed it. Claudio Fragasso wrote it. It's amazing.
Oh, Fragasso. Okay.
Yeah. Fragasso is like a hero. But this movie is like, wow. Like it's, the thing I love about, they also did Shocking Dark. Like I love Italian movies where you like forget what movie they're ripping off. This happens in Yor a lot of times. We're like, okay, well, obviously we're in Star Wars. And like, oh, by the way, no, we're doing Conan. Like you'll get like little reminders of what other movie we're doing.
While we're lifting sound effects from Battlestar Galactica.
Oh my God, I know.
Also, like we got all your bases covered as a fan.
Oh, that's it. If you like Battlestar Galactica, the bad guys look a lot like Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I like about it. It's like, this is totally, if you had a friend come, you know how like when you're a kid and your mom like sets up like a play date where it's like, oh, my church group's meeting, will you just hang out and play with this kid? He's bringing some toys and you've never seen any of his toys. You guys have to build this like shared universe of like play. That's kind of like, if you filmed it, that's what yours like. It's just like, some of these things don't go together. Some of these things are very messy if you sit and think about it too long. And I love that.
No, that's a great way to put it, actually, because I think there is sort of a freedom in that like play world when you're a child of like, you're not adhering to rules that somebody else has set for you, right?
Yeah.
Like whatever, my caveman goes to space or like shoots lasers or like, the fire swords. Like it doesn't matter. Like you're sort of willing to strip away any of these artificial limitations and just really like build your own world in the sandbox. And I think there's something to appreciate about that, even though I think from like a perspective of like the script and the acting and maybe a lot of the editing choices, like, yeah, the movie is not great, but again, it does what it wants to do. And, you got to respect that.
It's a very Italian movie where it's like, we got it. It's on the screen and it's like,
done.
It's done. Right. And it's like, but it's amazing. Like back then, when I think about it, like today, why aren't there this many movies coming out from Italy? Cause like this is shot on film and this is edited. It was, this is not an easy thing to do. And like, the fact that so many of these movies were made back then, like, we got so many Italian movies in like this 15 to 20 year period, like that's my favorite era. It's like the look of this film and just like seeing it on film and it's a little dark and soft in places. Like I love that about it. It's cheap, but it doesn't always look cheap. You know what I mean? Compared to like I love Beastmaster, but there's moments in Beastmaster where some of it looks, oh, okay, we're in some, outside where the Batcave is, and do you know what I mean? In LA, like that's where we're shooting this. Like at least this, like the rock formations look really cool, and it's like this does look like an alien universe that we're in a couple times. But I'm predispositioned to this movie. Like this is like if I had a cousin who got held back a bunch of times, Yor would be that guy, and I'm like, oh, he's doing the best he can. All right, they're like, he's a real problem in the classroom. He's really disruptive, and I'm like, but I love him, so and I would defend him.
He keeps drinking all the other kids' dinosaur blood. We need to have a conference here with the parents, but I think it's a good time maybe to do the haikus because that's always a fun part of the show. And for a movie like this, there's so much going on. It's really hard to dilute into 17 total syllables. So do you want to do the honors?
Oh man, I just did the beginning because that's the where to start, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Blonde caveman arrives, stabs paper mache dino. Help me cut choice meats.
It's great. I couldn't, I was trying to like do my best to sum it all up. So
yeah.
Cave guy is brave guy. Dinos, swords, and laser guns. Big time 80s hair.
Oh, I love that. I love this haiku thing for the movies. That's like, once I got that email, I'm like, this is awesome. Like I'm definitely even more excited about talking about this movie now.
Yeah. I was like, look, I got to say something about the hair.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable. And then how do I reconcile dinosaurs and spaceships? I'm like, all right, well, we'll figure it out.
Once we get to where the Overlord lives, that's where like Star Wars takes over. We're
yes,
definitely in the Death Star. Like, there's no mistake. There's a lot of Flash Gordon too. I think everybody in Italy saw Flash Gordon and they were like, "Oh, this is it. This is how you make a science fiction movie."
I know we've talked a lot already about
Mhm.
sort of like the reasons why we like the movie, the reasons
Mhm.
why you love the movie. So I want you to sort of hazard a guess here as to why it is widely considered to be a quote unquote bad movie.
I think the one thing that, you know how people talk about subtitles as being like a fence that some people can't get through, like, or a
Yeah,
hurdle they have to get over. Dubbing is like that for some
yeah,
people
for
too,
sure.
especially in the Italian. Like, this movie does not. This movie is like a cacophony of sound. None of it matches up to mouths, and like between that, the disco song, like when York kills that dinosaur and he goes, "Yay!" and like you're like, what? Like, there's a lot of this movie that, like, you think you have to have experienced the world of Italian movies to love it. And I think to somebody normal that went to the drive-in to see this on a date or whatever, and being like, I always say confronted by this movie and not knowing what it's good, only seeing the trailer, like, oh, it looks like Star Wars. And you're like, no, this is much weirder than Star Wars. It's just like, it's its own thing. Right. And I think that's probably why. Though it did really well, like it in that summer, because I think also it came out in a time where we weren't getting sequels like today. Like, if you want to see Star Wars, you don't got to wait that long for Star Wars or a Marvel or like these kind of things. Back then, it was like, man, I love Conan, but we're not going to get another Conan movie for a couple of years. And Italy said, "Oh, we're ready to help you out," and we have all these other movies. So it's like, it's that get me another kind of feeling. So I think it did well enough with that, but I think why people don't like it is, I mean, just look at it. It's like it's a weird movie. Like, it's not, it's like it's just something's off, right? And it's just like, just not completely Italian movies. This is the third thing of the Italian movie cycle that I love. This one doesn't do it because it's obviously set back in time, but a lot of Italian movies want you to think they're made in America. And maybe they shoot
Yes.
half of it in America. And then, like, when you come to someone's bedroom, there's like a poster that just says hockey. And there's another poster that says American football. And you're like, oh, well, they were in an American child's bedroom. Um, this one doesn't get to do that. There's no like grounding it in anywhere. It's like, no, we're somewhere. We're in the past, but no, we're in the future. Spoiler.
Well, I mean, since you mentioned that, I had done Absurd on this podcast
Oh,
before, and the fixation of that movie and the Super Bowl is just like absolutely crazy to me. I'm just like, I'm American. I don't just like talk about the Super Bowl all the time like this.
well, to be fair,
And I love football.
Pittsburgh is in that game, and if you live in Pittsburgh, the whole world
Yes, that's
shuts
fair.
down
Yeah.
during the Steelers game. I love the scene where everybody's eating giant bowls of spaghetti.
Yeah, the
while they're
best
watching
Super
it.
Bowl food.
Oh my god, I watched that as an Italian that loves the Steelers. I was like, I would like a giant bowl of spaghetti to watch during the game. I love Absurd a lot because I love Joe D'Amato.
Yeah.
He's like a patron saint in my life. But I also love that movie because it's like Italian American Halloween with a lot of stolen Super Bowl footage. They did not pay for
Yes.
that. There's
Yes.
no way they did.
No, not a chance.
And I love George Eastman so much. Like, it starts with him getting impaled on a fence, and it was like, yeah, okay, let's do more. And it's also, he's a killer created by the Vatican. What? Like, these like, Italian movies are great because that's like in an American movie that would be the whole plot. And in Italy they set that up, and you're like, are they going to follow that up? Nope. Sorry, we got too much going on. We got to stab someone in the eyes and throw them in an oven. That oven
right.
scene with the babysitter. Did you like it? I'm talking about.
No,
it
I did like it. My friend
Yeah.
Steven from the Dax podcast
Mm.
recommended that, and then he loves that sort of like Italian stuff too. So I think the next one we have on deck, I don't even know if it's Italian, but it's Night of the Bloody Apes is
Mexican.
Mexican.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the next one that we have slated. But he gave me a really long list, and I was like, well, I can't do like all of these in a row, so just like we'll get through them, I promise.
Rene Cardona directed that, and he also did Santa Claus versus the Devil, which is my favorite Christmas movie.
I mean,
And
that sounds awesome. I gotta watch that.
Wait till, have you watched Night of the Bloody Apes yet?
I haven't. No, we haven't
Oh my
scheduled.
God. Yeah, get ready because it's like, if you're like, I want lucha and I want a human being to become an ape and kill people. Also, I would like to watch real open heart surgery in a movie.
That's
That is not
the promise.
fake.
That's the
Yeah.
promise that I've heard.
It's-
Fortunately, I've seen open heart surgery that wasn't like part of a movie, just out of like, medical curiosity. But
it was on the poster because like in the 70s where there's another Fulci movie like that too, one on top of the other, because the end of it shot in Folsom Prison's like gas chamber. And that's the biggest thing on the American poster. Wow. It's like also a bat attack. And that is in the movie for 10 seconds. Oh, that's Lizard in a Woman's Skin. That's the one that's like that. But like, it's crazy that like you're gonna love it. I'm so excited for you to watch that movie and experience it because it's something.
Well, I got to reach out to Steven because it's going to be for February because we do like horror stuff early in the year. It's like instead of Valentine's Day and that kind of stuff, it's like, no, we do horror movies in February. So, yeah, I'm excited for that too. Since we did speculate a little bit, I think to your point, the movie's kind of a mess. I think that's maybe the thing with a lot of the lower budget, like Italian movies, is that it's a little too messy in comparison to what was more mainstream and popular in the States at the same time. And so, I mean, I know for me, like my first introductions into Italian cinema, that was sort of like my biggest takeaway is like, it's so structurally different. It's like, it's the same, but it's like you're looking at like sort of like an inverted movie where like all of the stuff that I'm accustomed to is kind of backwards. So it's like, it's sort of a little bit like dream logic where nothing is where it's supposed to be. It's all very familiar, but like this doesn't look the same or feel the same or sound the same. And so just like getting adjusted to that, but then to see, I think how much of sort of like Italian cinema has a lot of common threads. Once you're in it, it's like, oh, okay, like this is sort of the world and the toolbox that like Italian cinema plays with. And so I'm a lot more accustomed to it now. I just still have a ton of work to do in order to like get caught up with it because, there's multiple decades of stuff where I was like, I wasn't watching any of this stuff at the time. So now I got to like claw my way through it.
Yeah, I always think about when early UFO researchers talked about meeting the men in black. They said that like they looked like human beings, but they would do weird things like try to eat with their ears or eat a pencil or stuff like that. So it's like they only knew like what the human experience that they could see within their own perception. Italian movies are very much that, where it's like, I think this is what American people want.
Yeah.
Or I think this is what a worldwide audience wants, but we're not really sure. And like, let's make it. Like there's one scene in Ghost House where they argue who's more popular in America, Simon Le Bon or Kelly LeBrock. And it's like a long discussion. And then they start talking about, have you made chili yet today? On a ham radio. It's a long ham radio scene. And you're like, I know they thought that this is what kids in America were talking about, but it's also like 65-year-old men like, hey, teenagers, I am one of you. And like, it's a little bit of that too. And it's just weird. And it's like, no, nobody in America does this. And I love that though. Like these are the movies I want. Like we live in our world. We know what our world's like. I don't want to see that movie. I want I call it movie drugs, right? Because it does the same thing that drugs do for you. It should like move you to another state of consciousness or like make you laugh really hard or make you fall in love with it and release endorphins. Like that's what I love about Italian movies, where it's just like, here is this thing and it's probably going to mess you up. But you should watch it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. You mentioned the trailer earlier too, and so now we come to the time of the show where we're going to take a look at that trailer because I always try to save this moment for right here on the show where I see it for the first time. A lot of the time it's a trailer that I've seen before, but when it isn't, I always try to make sure that we do it for the very first time here live. So let me make sure I have that. Before we get to the trailer, it's time for a quick commercial from the multiverse. Whether battling an innocent Triceratops or an evil overlord from the future, life as a cave dweller is tough. But the battle over your nutrition doesn't have to be. Introducing Cappadocia Choice Meats, the preferred dinosaur jerky of cavemen worldwide. Sourcing only the finest prehistoric cuts, Cappadocia Choice Meats make sure that you have the very best so that you can be your very best. You can customize your subscription boxes so that you never run dry, And if you act now, you'll get the flavor of the month for free for an entire year. This month's flavor is sea salt stegosaurus. So act now and secure your cuts, because Cappadocia Choice Meats is a cut above the rest. And now, back to the show. Let's go full screen.
Awesome.
I hope it is not too loud.
There must be some place in this world where we can live in peace with our people.
He is from a future world.
Oh, right there in the first 2 seconds.
In another time.
Laser gun.
Searching for his past. A hunter of incredible power and strength. In his quest for his origin, he and the woman he loves must fight hostile tribes. Battle deadly beasts. And try to survive the violent forces of a newly born Earth.
Oh, like right here, I was like, Dad, you gotta take me to this
Is
movie.
the warrior
He's like,
known
I do not
as
want to sit with this weird kid that I've raised.
His medallion holds the key to his destiny.
That little, like, he slams the burning tree with the axe at the camera. That's got to be very unsafe.
His enemy
Yeah, I mean, look at this.
uses the
He like
weapons
threw a
of
sword
tomorrow
at a human
to
being.
enslave a primitive planet.
That's a good underhand toss,
But his
though.
passion for
Yeah.
freedom will set his people
He wasn't good at
free.
baseball. He was more softball player.
Yeah.
You're the hunter from the future.
There are no old women in this movie. Like,
No.
it is all incredibly attractive women. I get Italy. See, I forgot the last part of the Italian puzzle you have to unlock is dummy drops of like bodies being thrown from high places, and they give it to you right in the trailer. They're like, "Here's a good one." Like the whole end of the movie is bodies getting thrown off shit, and like I'm good with it. Like I love the attack on Overlord's floating palace. Of course, yours going to blow it up. Like
You
of
got
course.
to.
And I love the end tries to give us like a square up reel where they're like, will humanity be able to do it right? Time will tell. I'm like, not with your leading. I mean, he can barely keep it together. Like, he should not be the leader.
I mean,
He needs
he's flying the spaceship at least. So like, oh, we got to trust this guy. He knows technology.
He somehow knows how to fly because his parents are the whole reason we're in this mess.
Yes.
Right? Because they're the ones that created this and Overlord usurped them. But if they hadn't done this, they're like the Jor-El and Zara-El.
Well, that's what I was going to ask too, because like even the trailer says that he's got like abilities, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, is he super strong? Does he have like superhuman powers, which allows him to fight a dinosaur one-on-one? And he's the only one who's like jumping over objects as well. So I was just curious, like, is that implied?
I think we're to think that he is like, it is very Clan of the Cave Bear, because like the Daryl Hannah's character is like, she's the leap forward. Do you know what I mean? Within her tribe. So she's the first one to have blonde hair. She's the first woman that's smart enough to hunt. And I've read all the books, God. My mom bought all the books I remember. So I don't know why I have so much lore in my head of Clan of the Cave Bear. But anyway, there's a lot of Clan of the Cave Bear in this too. He's the blonde one in this world where nobody's blonde. Also, like, they talk about how old Pag is, and I don't want to know how old they think he is. They're probably like, he's 53, just like you, Sam. Like, he's the oldest member of his tribe. And he's near death. He's ready to die.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the elder, and with Zala?
Yeah.
Zala, right? He's not her dad.
Kala, yeah.
But
he's not, but he's like some kind of mentor. She's in the comics, she's like the princess of the tribe, and her parents had died.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, we don't have time to get into that.
No, none of that.
No. Do not have time. It's just like, it's amazing how much stuff moves in this. Also, like, as soon as the Overlord comes up, the music changes and it turns into like theremin. And like, I love the Overlord's plan that he's going to take your genetic material to make perfect androids. And then he's going to put his mind into those androids. He's going to operate on yours mind so his mind can be perfect. Is his mind screwed up? Like, is that why he screwed everything up? Also, yours real name's Galahad and his medallion's like a USB drive. Okay. Like, and there's like the blind scientist that's in charge of these. Like, there's a lot of exposition near the end. Like, because it's kind of like we're this far along and we're like, hey, by the way, it's a completely different movie now. And like, so we got to explain. It's very Thundar now. It's
yes.
like, it's like, oh, like we're in the far future, we're not in the past. And this is why Yor is important. It really feels like, if you think about it, like every comic book page could be like a long period. The comic was like 4 issues uh that collects it of graphic novels. So it's like it ran for a couple years. Do you know what I mean? So like you're getting like a lot of story super, super, super compressed. This could be, that's why it was 4 episodes of a TV show.
Yeah.
So if stuff starts to feel like it's all over the place, it's like
Well, it's an hour into the movie before there's like really something from the future. They find like a blinker or a rear view mirror in the cave, and then laser beam strikes the camp, and I'm like, okay, now we're gonna have some future stuff happening. And then as soon as that switch is flipped, it's like, oh, we're inside the Death Star. We even get the sort of swinging across the chasm that we had in Star Wars. But it also gives me my favorite moment probably in the whole movie, is where the old guy trapeze artists himself upside down on that cable to rescue Yor from the other side, where like they took enough time to realize that like when the cable swings the other direction, like now Yor can't reach it anymore, right? And so they went through like that whole problem solving in the script of like, this is going to be like how we get him back and rescue him. And it was the oldest guy in the movie hanging upside down from this wire as he swings across, but he flips mid swing. It's not like he just like jumps with his knees to begin with. He maneuvers himself in the middle of the swing, and then outstretched arms catches Yor, and they swing back to safety on the other side.
As someone that is the same age as Peg, I really am happy to see this level of representation for old chubby white-haired dudes on the screen. It's good. I'm happy about that.
Well, there's so many roads that lead to like his sacrificial death, I think, in a story like this, and for it to not happen is good. They tease you with it a couple times where it's like, yeah, the old guy is probably going to be out, and then nope.
He's very much the Obi-Wan of this movie, though.
Yes,
He doesn't teach anybody anything.
No.
But that's why I think, and also like at the end here, you can tell they really like the scene in Star Wars where Luke swung with Leia.
Yeah.
They loved it. And it's like, but I love that like a lot of Italian movies, like I always thought Star Crash, it was made as a Star Wars ripoff, but Cozy never saw Star Wars. Like he read like a picture book of it, but never saw the movie. And he's like, I'm just going to make a Flash Gordon movie. And that's what he did. And it's great. It's probably, again, I saw that in the gulf of time between Star Wars and Empire, which I have never waited for something more in my life, right? Like as a young geeky kid, you're like, how long till Empire Strikes Back comes out? Well, another year. And it's like, well, cool. Like at that point, like, well, I'll go watch the Star Crash and Battle Beyond the Stars. And at that point I was like, this is better. Because like I'm getting it immediately and I'm getting to watch it now. I'm not waiting for it.
Yeah, there is a void inside of me that Star Wars created, and the only way to fill that void is with knockoffs for the next few years. Smart though, on like basically everybody who made the knockoffs in the meantime. Like there was a whole business model based on like, we're ripping off the popular thing, and
that's all
well.
Italy genre films based on.
Yeah,
right. It's like these Filonis, they call them like these rivers or veins happen, and they're like, well, they like drain that Filoni and move on to the next one. It's like when Mad Max became a big deal.
Yep.
They're like, hey, we can make the same movies we made when they were cowboy movies, but just have cars in it. And like, we get it. And like Conan was another one, and Zombies obviously was another one. And then they're like, hey, there's even a point in the 90s where all the old Jolly directors came back and did Fatal Attraction ripoffs. Because Fatal Attraction's a genre. And they're like, oh, we'll just make the same movie we made in 72 with more sex. It worked out perfect for them.
Yeah, it sounds very Italian.
And like they would put them out here, Fatal Revenge, and like, all these. It's like The Devil's Honey, the Fulci movie, is his Fatal Attraction movie. Again, he didn't get the memo because like there's a scene where a man paints a woman's private parts with nail polish through stockings, and you're like, who is this for? Like,
the guy behind the camera.
Yeah, I'm like, and Fulci was like, yes, please, more. And you're like, I don't get it. That whole movie's honestly one of the wildest ones, because I guess it's very much set up to be a Fatal Attraction movie, like from the poster and everything. And then like there's very much the exploitation era thing of Italian movies where like, well, we got you with the poster. You're already in the theater. You're ours now. Like we're gonna give you anything we want. And this movie's very much that too. It's like, hey, I brought over this UFO toy too. Can we use this toy and play with that too?
Well, I will say we talked about miniatures a little bit earlier and the use of that in sort of making these films function in the way that they need to. But to their credit, full-size dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, relatively full-size dinosaurs. Maybe not actually the size of a living dinosaur, but the fact that they built like a full functioning, mostly animatronic puppet to interact with the actors.
Yeah,
that's time, money, that's effort. That's something where you might probably use miniatures or use stop motion like we had seen in a lot of other films up until this time. So to really like go for that and to be like, not only are we going to have a dinosaur, it's going to bleed, right?
Yeah.
We're going to axe this thing in the head and blood is going to come out.
Also, like,
crazy.
Like, Margheriti's crazy because he was like making that and they only had one person shooting second unit. So it wasn't like, this is an incredibly efficient movie. Like, like if you think about it, if an American crew did this, there would be a whole separate crew to do the dinosaur. Yeah, it would look better, but what's the ROI on it? Do you know what I mean? Like the same people are going to go see it. And it's like, to me, like there's some charm in the fact that it's a obviously paper mache dinosaur. Like we can see the seams on it, but you know what?
Those
like
seams.
But I don't. In the Italian cut, there's a whole other monster that shows up, like a Demiadron shows up at one point, and like I was like, how did this end up in the movie? And I'm like, I don't know how they would have got back to this scene. Do you know what I mean? Like it's amazing seeing the 200 minutes of it. They like even the Italian cut is about half of that. The American cut is like almost a little over a half of all the footage. So there's like a lot that got chopped up and played with, and it's like it's amazing. Every film's a miracle. This one's a huge one. That's like, what? How did they? I can't even imagine what they were like in the American dubbing studio when they got 200 minutes of footage, and they're like, okay, let's make a 88-minute movie.
Do you have the Blu-ray for this?
I have the Blu-ray and I have the DVD, the Italian one.
So what is included on that? Is it like, does it include the extended like extra 10 minutes? No. What's
it has an interview with Red Brown. That's about it. It was Mill Creek now is now Alliance Entertainment, and they're like part of like a bunch of other labels. So like now they'll put like a ton of extras on stuff, and they do like they're a little more like boutique label. When this came out, it has a slipcover, and it's a nice release. Like the print looks really nice on it, but it's like it's very bare bones. And I was upset because I'm like, if there's ever a movie like I would really love to do a commentary on and be this, but I'd also love to hear from other people. Do you know what I mean? That talk about the movie. Like Margheriti's not with us anymore, but Red Brown's still alive. Corinne Cléry's still alive. I'd like to hear like what was it like to for Red Brown to go to Turkey and show up, and they give you the script like you're going to be a caveman, and you're also going to fight like aliens and robots, and he's like, yeah, great, like. I don't know, like it's a weird proposition. So like I want to hear those things. And so I was upset because like I had been waiting for this to come out in blue. My copy before this, because this was out of print forever. I think the statute of limitations up. I went to the Carnegie Library and stole it and made a bootleg. I made a bootleg of it with a DVD burner and brought it back.
So you rented it? Yeah.
And like, well, yeah, there's no rental in Pittsburgh anymore. And like, my copy of it was so bad, it was so scratched up from the library that there's one scene where where Yor gets knocked off the mountain. He froze in the air for like 3 minutes, and I just kept watching it. And I was like, wow, this is a really weird cut. I might not have been on this plane of reality either. But I was like, why is this happening? I'm like, oh, I got to start the movie again. So yeah. I watched this like 4 times the first day when I got the DVD again. It's like I remembered it from when I was a kid and I loved it. And I was like, I'm going to watch this like as many times as I have in one day. And I don't recommend that. Like once is enough, right? Don't do this to yourself.
Well, I would be curious to watch the commentary, the riff tracks version of it now that I've seen the movie in its totality. Well, mostly, but to see how it's sort of perceived as a commentary medium.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's fun.
I think so. And this is like a movie that if I saw this at the drive-in surrounded by people, I would be making fun of parts of it. Because
Yeah.
it's like, in the same way, like with my friends, like we make jokes at each other's expenses. I consider this movie a good friend. And like I can also admit that there's parts of this movie that are dumb. But like it's good dumb. Like this is like the kind of dumb that makes me happy.
That's fair. There's like sort of two different camps of films that end up on this show. And it's like movies like this and then movies that are like, oh, name recognition wasn't well received. Is it really bad? Is it maybe bad by the standards of the time? And looking back on it, it's, good in comparison. And this is one of the ones where like I have it on, my wife's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What is this for? Is this for your show? So it's one of those. And I'm glad that I got a chance to watch it. And I need to dive deeper into sort of maybe Italian cinema. And maybe I dedicate a whole month and just do like Italian.
I would love to pick a couple for you for that.
Yeah, please. I've
awesome.
already written down a few of the ones that I need to check out. But a curated list would definitely go a long way in helping me in my Italian cinema education. Education wise, you already beat one of the trivia questions without even having to hear it. So I assume you're going to do well on the rest, but
we'll see.
Let's do some trivia.
Time
so that first question
trivia
was about the costumes and where they came from. And those were the unused costumes from Humanoid in 1979. So question number 2, this movie was nominated for 3 Golden Raspberry Awards at the 4th ever Razzies. So do you know which 3 those are?
I believe that Red Brown for worst star.
Yes. Worst new star.
For worst movie and worst theme song.
It wasn't worst movie, surprisingly, but it was worst score and worst original song.
Okay.
I don't know how you give this worst original song because it's like this. The fact that this movie has an original song, I think, is impressive enough, and the fact that it's good, just paired with a movie that like doesn't necessarily make sense to have a good song for.
Yeah.
Is the weird
part. The Razzies are like really beating up on people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I'm always I love the movie The Lonely Lady. That won like every award that year. And I'm like, how? Like, I love this movie. I really like I Know Who Killed Me, and that won a lot of awards that year too. But it's like, I don't think anybody realized, like, if you watch that and think it's an Italian giallo, it's a lot better. Like, temper your expectations. This isn't like a AAA Hollywood movie. This is a shitty Italian movie. And if you think of it like that, it's a better movie. So that's why the Razzies upset me, because like they always pick stuff that I like. We watched this list online the other night of like 20 best movies of the year, and we hadn't seen any of them. And when the 20 worst came on, I'm like, I've seen every one of these. Like, I mean, like that's and maybe I have no taste, but like I definitely like these are the ones I sought out.
Well, I mean, somebody shared with me today like Variety's list of the 10 worst movies, and so they had like 2 of their critics, Owen Gleiberman, who I've read on this show many times when I do Critics Corner. I saw like his 5 and then the other person's 5, and I was like, these are not the worst movies of the year. You're like sort of nitpicking stuff that has enough, like a Netflix original. Like, okay, maybe Electric State was not good, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. Is that the worst movie of the year? No, there's 1,500 movies came out. I guarantee you I could throw a dart blindly at that list of 1,500 movies and find one that's worse than that. Because there's so much just like, straight to video, low budget, like, knockoff kind of junk like this, like sort of cinematic junk food that just ends up in, the grinder for the most part. So it just like sort of does a disservice to what's actually like worst movies to just be like, oh, here's sort of like a movie that had an A-list cast and didn't like deliver, or maybe wasn't as good as it should have been. Like, that's not a worst movies. And so with the Razzies, they end up sort of in similar territory where Showgirls, was nominated and won a bunch. And look at where Showgirls is now. It's in reappraisal territory. They just screened it, I think, at the Academy Museum Theater like a couple of months ago. And Elizabeth Berkley is now all of a sudden being treated with a lot more respect when that movie like ruined her career. So, the Razzies do what they do, but
it's the same as like when you see these lists online of like the 10 worst movies ever. And like even like when the Golden Turkey Awards came out, I remember reading that book as a kid, And that's what got me into strange cinema a lot, was reading those books. And now that I go back and watch it, like a lot of the movies in the Golden Turkey Awards are like Zabriskie Point and Dennis Hopper's The Last Movie, and like a lot of and Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. And like these are all movies that I love. Like, why did they hate these? And it's almost like we got to take these super creative directors down a peg. Like, yeah, Zabriskie Point's not his best movie, but it's still interesting. And like that's what it made me reconsider the movies I like, especially like if you watched like It Came from Hollywood or anything from the 80s. It was like Ed Wood's the worst director of all time. His movies are horrible. And it's like, yeah, they're not good, but they're also like a strange auteur project. And they're also like interesting. And also he made a movie about switching how he dressed as a woman in the 50s, where people were still afraid to do that now. And like it's the story of his life. Like that to me it's better to be, and John Waters always said this, like it's the only bad movie is a boring movie. Yeah. His movies are interesting. Versus like when I see those top 10 lists, I'm like, yeah, that movie's not, it's well shot and it's like but I think some people, I also notice critics often have like an agenda against certain movies. Like, well, I hate Marvel movies and I hate, like Minecraft was on the list of the worst movies of the year that I saw in this thing. And I'm like, that movie did well in theaters and kids really liked it. It's like, it's not for you as a critic.
Yeah. And I think that is a particular distinction. And so, I mean, I did like movie reviews, and I even had like a very complicated grading scale at one point. And ultimately I was like, I got rid of all that. I was like, I would much rather approach the movie from a perspective of just someone watching it, where I'm trying to meet the movie on the level that it is operating and not hold it to some artificial standard. And going into movies without expectation has been incredibly freeing because I don't hold it to any artificial standard. It's sort of changed my entire perspective about like, I mean, I don't really care about the Oscars that much anyway, but in terms of what should be recognized versus what is, like you said, there is something respectable and honorable about making the weird thing in the weird way and just being true to yourself as a creative versus like we all know the term Oscar bait, right? This term exists because movies are made with that in mind. Like there's a lot of money on the line. Winning an Oscar is important. I understand all that. And so getting that sort of maybe layer of gloss on a film where it's like, it looks good, it sounds good. Like I appreciate all those things, but if what those things are adding up to in totality is not interesting or worthwhile, then like what you have is like, I mean, I don't mean to be mean, but like sort of like a Bob Ross painting where it's like, yeah, like I saw all of the stuff that went into it. Like it looks nice. It hangs in the dentist's office, right? Like it's not in a museum.
It's not challenging you or making you think things in a different way. I think the thing is like about the Razzies or reviews and stuff. I always tell people like, I hate when I see people on social media say, should I watch this movie? And they ask their friends,
just watch it. Just watch it.
And I always say like, how do you determine your peaks and valleys if you don't have valleys? If you're only watching things, that's what sucks about these like paradigms or whatever you call them, how like what Netflix picks to show you, like the algorithms. It's like you're only getting to see things that they know you're going to like. Well, how do you find anything new or anything that's slightly different or strange, like you said?
Well, I think that is a weird thing. I don't want to get in like to too much of a tangent, but I think what you mentioned is important, is that there is this weird sort of, I don't know exactly how to phrase it, but this need for approval of your like film decisions. I see a lot of people who are like, should I watch this? Or when someone says they're watching something, was it good? And it's like, if you're interested in the movie based on what is like to know about it before seeing it, just watch it. And people are like, oh, I don't want to like waste my time on a bad movie. And it's like, that's such a weird way to, I think, approach it, because you're already like operating from a headspace of, I only watch good movies. It's like, there is value to be found in stuff that is movies like this, right? Like this is not going to be up in the Academy Museum of, greatest movies ever made. But yeah, you have to take chances on the stuff that you're watching. And I think what it is, like, you can't ask people permission
Mm-hmm.
to allow yourself to have the distinct taste and, appreciation for things that you want to have. Like, if you're doing that, you're just operating through somebody else, like an avatar for your film taste or your music taste. And it's like, just like the thing that you like. There's no need to be ashamed of liking that thing or being interested in that thing. And so it's a weird thing that I've seen a lot of online. And so on the one hand, I understand if like I come to you and I'm like, hey, I don't have a great background in Italian cinema. I haven't seen a lot of it. I know you're super well versed in it. Could you curate me a playlist or a watch list of Italian movies that you think I might like because I liked this one, right? That's one thing. But for me to come to you and be like, should I watch this movie? Should I watch this movie? It's like, yeah, what do you need my approval for in that equation? Where it's like, just push play. The worst thing that's going to happen is you watch a movie that you didn't like. And I mean, that's not the worst thing that could happen,
And like, what is the good thing? Is there something good you can take out of it too? That's the thing. It drives me nuts because like there's this weird, like I liked Siskel and Ebert when I was a kid. I never agreed with any of the movies they liked. Like and they hated slashers. They hated like the junk that I liked. But I watched it every week because I felt like they had reached a level. That's why it's always weird to me where people are like, well, this influencer liked this, so I'll watch it. Or like Neon or A24 put this out, so I'm going to like this movie no matter what. And I'm like, that's a weird strategy. It's almost like you said, it's this need for approval, but also this need of like, am I going to waste my time? It's like 90 minutes is like, if you can't give 90 minutes to a movie, then don't watch any movies. But then you'll watch, like you'll dump watch like 15 episodes of Bar Rescue. And it's like, people want to be comfortable with what they watch now.
Yeah. And I mean, I just like my fear for that type of sort of movie watcher is that you're not going to develop your own taste, right? You're never going to like be a fully fledged, like individual person to a degree. Like maybe that's a little bit like extreme example, but like if you're asking permission to watch a movie, that is like not something you need permission for. And for me, I'm like, do I think the premise is interesting? Or like, is it an actor I like or a filmmaker I like? End of discussion. If any of those things are fulfilled, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go see it. And a lot of the time it's like, yeah, I didn't end up liking that movie, but big deal. I just move on to another one that I like.
And when it comes to these lists, that's where we started with this of like, what's the worst movie? It's like, there's a barrel beneath the barrel you're scraping. Like there's always something worse. Like, it's almost like, like you got to roofie yourself so you can't get roofied. And if you can, like, you like your snake bite yourself. And that's what I do with bad movies. So they're like, this movie's bad. I'm like, technically, compared to the last 9 movies I saw, this is like a 10-star movie out of 5.
Let's get to that third and final trivia question, and then we'll head over to the bonus wheel, and we'll spin the hypothetical questions, and we'll have some fun with that. Okay, so the Source comic strip appeared first in which Italian magazine?
Oh, it starts with an L.
It does. Halfway there.
I can't remember.
I mean,
I'm not going to cheat and look anywhere.
It's fine. I give you half credit. That's Lancia Story.
Lancia Story. Okay.
So that was probably like the hardest of all the questions because it's
But I appreciate that. We got to do we were on a podcast in town for their anniversary, and they said, "Hey, can you write some trivia questions for us about this one Friday the 13th movie?" And I got the wrong assignment because I was like, "What was the David Bowie song that it was used?" Like every Friday the 13th movie had a David Bowie song as the working title, and they're like, "How would you ever know that?" And I'm like,
Oh, you wanted to know like what was the color of Freddie Krueger's
yeah, it was
sweater.
Like,
gotcha.
I was very much like Shatner would have been like, "Get a life." How many horses do you have on your farm? And he's like 30. He's like, in addition to the one that was born this morning. All right, I'm ready for the. This is going to prove that I didn't have a girlfriend until I was in my 20s.
Boy.
I'm ready for it.
Okay. The only 2 things that we didn't talk about in terms of sort of like behind the scenes stuff was that Margheriti said that this movie was one of the most successful pictures of his life. Since we talked about the Razzies too, it's listed among the 100 most enjoyable bad movies ever, which is in the Razzie Movie Guide. And then because we had talked about the stuntmen a little bit, Reb Brown is actually a black belt in Shinsekan and American Karate, and he's a purple belt, or at least was, in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. So he did all his own stunts. So you got like a real, fairly talented martial artist in your project, and then you sort of reduce him to like caveman martial arts, but he does decapitate a robot with a rocks, so.
Yeah. He has Yor Fu is probably the
Yor
style
Fu, yeah,
that he would have for this.
Look, I think like with intention and the right people, you could make probably like a really enjoyable, slightly sort of like better quality sequel to this movie now. Like it would be a lot of fun.
That's like the Deathmaster movie that just came out by the guys that did The Void.
Oh, cool.
And it's like, oh wow, like I like all 4 Deathmaster movies. And it's like kind of like it's made for somebody that watched those and like, these are kind of dumb, but I like them. It's like I would like somebody to make, like, I'm not a big fan of remaking stuff, but you can make a really good Beastmaster today with like a knowing like feel to it, or this movie, and I would watch it.
Yeah, it's like I'm not against remakes. I'm kind of against the decision to remake the movies that we're remaking. Like there's movies that deserve remakes that like have good IP that would be good in the right hands, but you're not making those.
I mean, I've said before, we're going to see like at least before I die, 4 more reinventions of Halloween, like 4 more reimaginings.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because it works and people go see it.
Look, give me a Halloween with actual Mike Myers, right?
Yeah. Right? I would go.
Yeah, exactly. Like it hasn't
That's
been
why
done
the
before.
mask, the Austin Powers mask is in Baby Driver.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were going to use a Michael Myers mask and they couldn't get it. So they said, can we use yours? And he said, yeah, it's funny.
It was funny. Okay. Well, the first question off the wheel. This one is pick a character from the movie. What is that character posting on social media the morning after the events of the film?
Oh. So I have to write what they would say?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Or, I mean, I think you could describe it and get close enough.
So I would say, I think Yor probably has social, but he's probably just still on just Facebook. He's not ready to get on anything else. Like he wouldn't use hashtags.
He posts a lot of shirtless selfies.
Shirtless selfies and like
he's a gym bro.
Tagging stories and someone's like, a girl he's interested is like, you probably shouldn't have shared that. That's a bad look. And he's like, I didn't know. And I don't watch news. I just go to the gym. And like, yeah. But I think Kahlo would probably post like, sorry I haven't posted the last 2 days. Met a guy, married for life, gave me his dead girlfriend's medallion. We also blew up a UFO. See you guys in a couple weeks. Like, she'd be like filling in her friends about hooking up with this hot guy.
She's definitely like a hair products influencer, I would imagine.
Her hair looks so good for like, I get it was a dry heat. There's no humidity there, but it's crazy.
It's impressive. I mean, the curling iron, I guess, is somewhere in the cave next to the dinosaur bones. But okay, next question on the wheel. If you could be a character in this movie, which character would you be and why?
I wouldn't be Pag though, because like I already am Pag. Yeah, I would be Yor. Yor has the best life. Like, what does he do? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't punch a clock. He gets up,
punches the dinosaur.
Yeah, he wakes up and he's like, I gotta kill a dinosaur. And everywhere he goes, people are like, please take my wife. Yeah, no, I'm okay. I don't want to. I'm like, well, don't insult her. And that's Yor's life. People where he has a magical medallion. The shit that Yor doesn't know about his life is more interesting than my life. And the life that he does know is more interesting than my life. Yor's like a double winner.
Well, since you brought that up, I had this thing in my notes because there's a moment where Kala, I think she asked Pag, like, why does Yor do the things that he does, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he says to her, like, a surprisingly profound thing in the middle of this movie. He says, a generous man does what his heart commands. And so the way that they look at Yor isn't like that he's super sort of like technology proficient. Like, she asks him, like, why is Yor different than other men, right? Like, what is this thing that makes him different? And Pag's thing is that, like, it's generosity. Like, essentially, it's his heart. It's not his fighting ability. It's not his hair. It's not his physique. It's not any of these things. It's the fact that he's a generous person. And so I found that to be, like, a really interesting line to be delivered at that point in the movie, because what you've shown us is a brute who murders dinosaurs and drinks their blood.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, well, he's just like a generous person and he's so good hearted and good natured that this is his defining quality. And I was like, huh, very, very interesting at that juncture in the film, because that's at like almost an hour. Like it's right before the village gets incinerated.
We don't know Yor like Pag knows Yor.
That's fair.
They've had like long, if Pag talks this deep when the camera's on, when the camera's off, he's like really asking you really insightful questions. I have the Italian files with subtitles, so I'll send them your way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and you'll be like, God, you made me watch not just 88 minutes. He made me this. I don't even know this guy really. He made me watch like 288 minutes, and you're always gonna be like, what is wrong with you? Like Christmas is here. Like, well, I had 4 hours of Yor Hunter from the future to watch.
Put it on, be like, my wife's like, did you just watch this last night? Yeah, but this is the Italian version.
Oh, my wife walked in on me doing character sheets for the Planet of the Apes role-playing game. She was like, I have never been less turned on in my entire life. I'm like, well, I have to build, like, we're doing like a gladiator battle between apes and orangutans. She's like, what? Stop. Stop. I don't want to hear about it. So yeah.
You're like, too late. You're married to me now.
It's 11 years. You did it.
Oh, that's awesome though. Okay, so if you could ask a character from this movie one question, which character and what question?
Oh yeah, I have so many questions.
Yeah, this is.
I would ask Overlord, like, what are you doing? Like, what's your plan? There has to be someone smarter than Yor to take their brain. You already have all these like advanced scientists. Why do you need Yor? This doesn't make any sense.
Okay, that's fair.
I would either ask that, or I would ask the swinger caveman, what are you doing?
Right?
Like, what your wife? I don't think your wife's into the scene. Also, I think he's one of those dudes that's like, all right, I'll get dark for a second. He's one of those dudes that's like, well, if I give her my wife, obviously he's going to give me Kala. I'm like, no, Yor doesn't play that way. Yor's like, nope. Like, that's mine, and you can, if you're open to that. But he's not. There's no reciprocation from Yor. Yor's just like going to take the spoils of war.
Yeah, in that moment too, like Yor's like, no, I already have my lady. So I was a little bit surprised that like Pag had already established at that point in the film that no, dudes like Yor, they get to have multiple wives, and you should just be happy that you're one of his multiple wives. And so
he's like a warrior god, and you were of another another chain. Like when it comes to that caveman picture from Evolution, you're like 3 back. Yours just his generosity is taking it easy on you, and like he's gonna. Did you see that hot alien woman from the future that he was with? Like that's the kind of girls Yor gets all the time. But meanwhile, as we're watching, we're like, Cléry's way more attractive than any of the other women, so I get it. It's very much like when the Nephilim, like the fallen angels from the lost books of the Bible. Here's a reference. Came back. They're like, these human women are gorgeous. What are we doing in heaven without genitals? It was a lot for them to deal with.
It's heaven, but no genitals.
No genitals. And like, who are these cavemen women that all look like Cléry with giant hair walking around? Of course, the very Italian angels. I always see angels as like Italian Renaissance paintings. They had to come down and be like, this is what we do.
I just found that particular moment with him to be weird because he's like, no, I have my woman and it's Kala. Yeah. But 5 minutes before that, he was like, I have my woman and it's this lady from the future.
Yeah.
So to like be as loyal as he is to her, then it doesn't adhere to the movie's own internal logic. And that's where I'm like, okay, so like what was the idea? Is that like he is pure of heart. He was easily tempted by a woman from the future and she's blonde. So he, of course, like did what he had to do. But then when she's not in the picture because Kala almost murdered her, then you're like, oh, okay, well,
hit on the head
lady.
with a rock, not once, but twice. The first one stunned her. The second one put her away. I think the thing is, here's my take on it. And yes, I have thought about this before.
Okay.
Is that when Yor meets the other girl who's like him, he's like, this is the person that I should be with because she is from my caste and my race. And I think eventually he would grow bored with her because she was just content to sit in this room on this throne versus like Kala will pull a knife on you. And like she's she's not afraid to like fight a dinosaur. And I think he needs somebody with that tempestuous spirit, and that he learned that. And from that point on, once this other girl died and said, she's the woman you should be with, give her this medallion. Like once he did that, he was like, I thought way too much about it.
Yeah, got the blessing, and it was just like, okay, you're good to go. Okay. Was that 3 or 4? I don't even know. Oh yes, that was the third one. So here's the fourth and final one. We'll bring off the wheel. You have to sell this movie to a new watcher on just one scene. So what scene is that?
Oh man. It would have to be the beginning when he runs down the mountain and kills a dinosaur. If you're not in it after that scene, right? You're like, it's like a Bond movie. It starts with like, like that's why I love James Bond movies, where it's just like, I know this action doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the movie, but wouldn't it be cool if Bond killed a whole bunch of people and then his parachute had Union Jack? This is like that, where it's like, what if Yor ran down a mountain full speed, stabbed a dinosaur, and then got a lap dance? And that's the first 3 minutes of this movie.
I mean, yeah, if you're not in at that point, then you're probably not going to enjoy the rest of it. So
what's yours? Like, what would you use to sell it?
Ooh, that is a good question. I think maybe the cave fight with the sand people and the fire. Because as I'm watching it too, I'm like, okay, did they actually film this in a cave, or did they do like a sound stage? Because it's filling up with smoke. And I was like, this is probably not a safe environment to have things burning in, because it's polluting everything. Like, you're going to asphyxiate everybody. But I think that's like a cool sort of moment where it's a unique environment to have the fight, fire sword. Can't really complain.
I think that's the thing. There's another sword and sorcery movie, Fulci did Conquest, around the same time. And that movie's great because it's like, imagine if Yor dropped acid. Because there's a couple like fire scenes in that movie, and there's fog everywhere in this movie. Like, there's so much fog. When it came out on Blu-ray, they were like, we've cleaned it up. There's less fog. Bullshit. There's even more fog. It's great. And it has like, the villainess is naked the whole movie. And there's a lot of, in the beginning, you're like, is this a Fulci movie? Like, this is a sword and sorcery movie. 4 werewolves drawing quarter a woman on camera. And you're like, it is a Fulci movie. Like, he did it again. You bastard. I love it so much. And like, this is like, it's like the grown-up adult cousin of Yor. And it also has a really great dolphin rescue sequence. It's a very much recommend if you like this movie.
That sounds awesome. Yeah. I'll take a dolphin rescue. Okay, so now I just want you to tell me one thing that you want more of in the movie, and then one thing that you want less of. More or less.
More choice meats.
More choice meat. You want to see him actually eat the dinosaur meat. Yeah,
because it makes me hungry thinking about like a dinosaur. Like at the end of Flintstones, when that big rib's on the car. If you like ribs, you're like, you deal with the danger of dinosaurs. But I think less. Oh man, I don't want anything less from this. That's a cop out though, right? I think less of the scientists and like hearing about them and them talking. Like as a kid, if I saw this as a young kid, I'd be like, why is all this romance in this movie? I don't care. Like, all I want is, it's like when you watch a Godzilla movie as a kid, like, why are these people talking?
Yeah, get the humans out of here. Let me see that giant robot and beetle fight.
Yeah. And like, I think my less would be less of the ending of the movie. I want more. Like, that's why when I found out there was the Italian cut of this, I was like, oh my God, like to be given more Yor was like a gift.
Okay. That's a good answer. Was there anything else that like you really had your heart set on that like you wanted to talk about that we haven't had a chance to yet?
No, I'm excited to get to talk about this movie because I did a video for it, like breaking it down and why I love it. I've talked about it on my show, and like we showed it on, we did the video cast and shared it. And it's like any chance to talk about this movie and sell it. And like you said, like I want people to watch it. And like if you listen to this and you're like, it doesn't sound like a movie I'd like, I would still give it a chance because it's very exuberant. And it's like Margheriti's movies feel like that, where like with the miniatures and the goofy slapdash effects and like the stuff, they're movies that feel like kind of in love with the idea of just making movies. And that's what I like about it, where it's like, oh, like it's what I always think about Carpenter's The Thing. All of these practical effects existed somewhere. Like at some point, there were 3 Italian dudes inside a giant paper mache dinosaur, right? Swinging its legs around, and Red Brown was screaming at it and hitting it. And it's like, none of this was green screen. Like this is all like real stuff. And like I love that. And like I want people to experience it and love it. Even if you gotta watch it with riff tracks, that's fine. Like the only riff tracks movie you should not watch with riffing or MST3K is Danger Diabolic. When that was on the show, I was like belligerently upset. Like I was like, why would you guys do this? Because that's probably my favorite movie of all time. And like I was like, why would you do this? But I understand. To Americanize, it's like this is really bad.
That's fair. Okay. Well, that's good then. Let's head over to Critics Corner.
Ooh.
This is where
this is going to make me sad, right?
Well, yeah, theoretically, yes.
Yeah.
But I think with a movie like Troll 2, we did at the start of season 2 here on the show, and it's one of the most popular episodes ever. So I think Yor might be a movie that less people have seen and know about, but it is in the same vein as Troll 2's in like enjoyment capabilities. So I have high hopes.
My favorite thing about Troll 2, may I say?
Yeah, go for it.
Is that Laura Gemser did the costumes, Black Emmanuel, and like she was the only person in the crew that spoke English. So can you imagine being an actor in Troll 2, Fragasso screaming at you in Italian, and the most beautiful woman you've ever seen says, "Let me translate that for you." Like an Indonesian Italian like goddess is just like there making these horrible costumes, and you're like, I think I saw her in an adult movie. You did. She was in like 17 Black Emmanuel movies. She was also in like a movie where she gets killed by a snake. So like I love Laura Gemser so much, and I'm like, I can't believe like what did people in Salt Lake City think, or where it was shot. And that George dude, the dentist who plays the dad, he was like, what world am I in? Like they're all Italians and no one speaks English except this vision. That makes me love Troll 2 more. Also, that he took one of the costumes and used them in one of the Ator movies too. And it's like it takes me out of the movie if anything could. Like that's one of the trolls.
Oh, all right. Well, let's get to the dirty work.
Let's see. I won't cry.
Well, there's no Metascore for this, so there has not been like a ton of critics putting their pen to paper on this. But we start with something. It's got no stars, but it's got the splat. This is Alan Jones from Starburst. No idea what that is. Reviews from 2022. It says inept, cheesy muscle man epic that thinks mixing Conan with Star Wars is a stunningly original idea. See? Don't understand. They don't think it's an original idea. They know full well that it is not an original idea, and that is the point.
They don't realize, like, hey, this is based on a comic book that came out before Star Wars.
Yes. See, that's what we're dealing with. Let's see. Okay, this one gave it a splat as well. This is Rob Box from Mania.com. 2013 review. The title is F, so I guess this is a letter grade. It says, if you hear the phrase Italian caveman epic and your heart doesn't sing at least a little bit, then I pity your sad and joyless existence, but gave it an F. I don't understand.
I don't like that.
Because he says if your heart doesn't sing, then you pity our sad and joyless existence. We have joyful existences because our heart sings when we hear Italian caveman epics.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's weird. It's backwards. I think that should be an A.
It's like when you ask someone, like, would you mind if I watch this? And they go, yes. And you're like, okay, well, I won't watch it. And they don't understand what you meant. Like, you're supposed to say no. And then you have to explain to them, like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, yes, English is a weird language. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, so you just said, so instead of asking that, just like, can I enjoy Caveman? Yes. Okay. Like yeah.
Well, maybe that guy's Italian and didn't quite translate.
Yeah.
Okay, we got we'll save the 3 out of 5 because that's the highest one. So we got a 0 out of 4 from James Sanford on Film. This is from 2004, so one of the older ones. It says, when a comrade warns Yor about the approaching creature of the night, he should have added, you might get tangled up in his wires. Well, this is just a cheap shot at movie being low budget. Kind of lame. You're not giving me much, James. I'm trying to help you out, but that ain't it. Okay, well, let's go to Brian McKay. This is efilmcritic.com. 1 out of 5 stars. says, "Oh my lord, can we say derivative capitalized D crapfest? Horrible acting and a script that takes sci-fi fantasy elements and tosses them in a blender." Yeah. Hello, you didn't enjoy that? 1 out of 5. I mean, he pegged it kind of like for mostly what it is, but did not have fun with it. Sorry, Brian.
Yeah, like where did the movie hurt you? That's what I always ask people. Like, show me on the doll where the movie touched you. Like, why are you so upset about it?
I'm curious how you get that assignment in 2003. Like, was a DVD release maybe? Like, watch this and write about it.
Joe Bob used to always say, like, he was the one critic that was happy to get these movies. And like every other critic was like, God, why do we have to do these? And he'd be like, give me all the ones they don't want to do. Like, those are the movies that I care about.
Yeah, there's definitely critics that go into the assignment like, I'm offended that I have to do this. And then you can tell in the writing and the way they approach it. So it's always a bummer. But yeah, if you can meet a movie where it is, you will do yourself a favor. And you might actually find out that you like some stuff that you would have like thought is garbage.
But also, it's like there's such a fine line between art house and grindhouse. That like, you know, like I love John Waters, but like there's people, it's in the Criterion collection, and it's like in this movie wouldn't go in it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like there's certain movies that like are acceptable junk and other ones that aren't, and it's like I don't know who makes those rules up, but
yeah, well. Sorry, I don't think yours is going to end up in the Criterion collection.
No, it's okay. I'm good. The Chasing Amy's in it. Come on, what do you guys think? Come on.
Okay, let's go to this is Dan Leibarger from Nitrate Online. Gave it a 3 out of 5. Says unintentionally hilarious. This thing is funnier than most of the comedies I've seen. Okay, at least he had fun.
Yeah,
a lot of the comedy is unintentional. He's not wrong.
Yeah. But that's the best kind of comedy to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for moments that are unplanned funny, because I mean, like laughter is not it's not something that like you control with a remote. It's either like you react to it or you don't. So in the moment where it's like it's just kind of reactionary, it's like this very sort of like free thing. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's a reason that people love like The Room, right? That like Tommy Wiseau is, you know, out at Comic-Con and like he's selling his new movie and a bunch of merch. Like you sort of just enjoy the ride that it is. And
I think that's the thing. Is like, that's what I like about movies like this. And like you said, Troll 2, like where it's like, there's this feeling of like, hey, this movie isn't good, but it's entertaining. And that's what I want. Like, I want a movie that makes me feel something. And it's like, I don't know, like there's the scene in Troll 2 I always think about when he's like, my name is Gene Freak, Sheriff Gene Freak. And people in the theater like lost their minds. And I'm like, it made me think like, that's a fucking weird name. And it's like, there's a lot of stuff that happens in this movie the same way. It's like, how many tribes is Yor going to destroy before he gets to every place he goes blows up? There's like not a single place that Yor is in this that like being around him is dangerous. The fact that an old man has survived this long around the madness that Yor brings to the table, it's like his woman's going to get kidnapped. He's going to meet another woman. His woman's going to try to kill that woman. That woman's going to die in a stalactite falling incident. And then it's like, oh, and then he's going to get offered another woman, but he's with his woman now. And then aliens come. Like, there's a lot that happens for Yor.
When the cops investigate that one, it's like, well, a stalactite hit her head. Okay, sure thing, Yor. It's always the husband.
Twice. The first one just, like I said, just stunned her. And she's like, I'm fine. Like, she found a 1-up. She was okay. She got through the level. And the next one was like, that's the one that killed her. Like, the first one looked more dangerous.
First one was just a concussion. Second one was
exactly.
Like brain bleed. And
that's why you should not wrestle after another concussion. Yeah.
Okay, well, since we've cleared Critics Corner,
all right,
this is a good territory for you because you've got a lot of these movies. But what is going to be your gateway drug movie for this? So for someone who has never heard of Yor, maybe you want them to take a chance on it. What's going to be the launchpad movie for them?
I would probably start them with Conan then. If they like Conan, and then say, hey, there's the next Conan movie is not as violent or as weird. Would you like something that's even weirder? Then I would move them to Yor. I think that's a pretty good way of taking them in. I was gonna be really goofy and be like, "Oh, the Phantom, the Billy Zane movie," because it's a comic book movie that's not good.
I do love the Phantom, and it was
Smash
on this
Evil.
show. Yeah,
Smash Evil.
Yeah, I mean,
that's another. I love movies that we thought were going to be a big deal. That's my favorite genre, where it's like there were so many ads for the Phantom, and you're like, this is it. But it's also that weird post Batman where every comic or comic strip got made. It's like, how did we get we never get a Shadow movie today, but they did after Batman. They're like, there's something in this water. There wasn't.
People want vigilantes in the dark. We're gonna give
vigilantes of old stuff. It's like The Rock was trying to get Doc Savage made for the longest time, and I was like, I don't think anybody wants that. Same way as like Green Hornet. Like I didn't think anybody wanted that, but you find the right person, they drive it in.
Someone will make it. It's like, I guess I would be curious.
I mean, John Carter got made. How did that happen?
Fair. I'm just like, I would be curious if sort of movies' success didn't necessarily hinge so much upon immediate release.
Yeah.
If we would get much more different ideas. Like if you knew at the time that you're making it, like, yeah, this is probably going to take 10 to 15 years to really like find its breathing room, what kind of freedom creatives would have in that space?
Or even if you think about how movies were released in the 70s, where it wasn't all the prints went out that weekend, where like Halloween played in theaters for like 18 months. Like it was successful and it did great, but it's like a lot of movies sometimes found their audience, or they found their audience later, like because that cable existed then. And I guess stuff finds its life on streaming now. But it's interesting because like I think this is a movie. The other thing I like about this and trying to find a good gateway for people on this is you're gonna have to start to fall in love with this weird genre of like Italian cash-ins. But like you said, they're not always easy to find. Like some of these ones, like they came out on DVD and Blu-ray not in the last 2 or 3 years, and they're effectively out of print. That's the other thing too that happens with movies. I'm sure you've learned this is like if you can't find it immediately on streaming, it's like it's kind of a lost movie now. It's really not. Like I probably have it on DVD, but like for younger people, they're like, oh yeah, I don't even know what that is.
No, that's a good point. Accessibility, I think, is a key thing, and I think at a time where like film preservation is maybe more not necessarily under attack, but not valued in the way that it should be. Like there's movies that were made that existed and just like there's maybe one print of it somewhere, or this is a movie that played in theaters, but now it's just kind of like you can't find it. So I think a higher emphasis on preservation of film would be great, but I don't know if we're going to see that. My pick for the gateway drug movie, since I'm not super familiar with this genre, I went into something that I do know, and I picked Hawk the Slayer.
Oh, I like that movie. Yeah.
There's a little bit of like magic in there. It's still kind of like sword and sandals. Hawk's kind of a weird dude, but you get like a great Jack Palance performance as the villain. So
I love
fun
when Palance shows up in anything.
Yeah, he's
like,
awesome.
Becoming pre-Curly Scold. He was like a big deal at that point. But like I love that he's in so many Italian movies in that era too. Also, there's a Hawk the Slayer comic too that came out last year. 2000 AD put it out.
Oh, cool.
So they're kind of like continuing. That's another one. Like I'd love to see. Like it wouldn't, to me, it's like if you take that idea and redo it, like what is with modern effects and stuff, it could be really cool. I don't know. I love like you said, there's Beastmaster, there's Ator, there's a million like Conan cash-ins, but I love all of them. Like that's one of my favorite genres.
Awesome. Well, we've gone, I think, around the sun and back with this one, but it's been a great time. I've really enjoyed our conversation, and I want to give you a chance now to plug whatever you want to plug for the audience. I mean, all this stuff is going to be up in the show notes, so it'll be clickable and easily accessible, but where would you like to direct people's attention?
you can come to the site at bnsaboutmovies.com. And that's also the podcast, anywhere you get podcasts, as they say, even YouTube. And then I'm on every Saturday night from 8 till the middle of the night, streaming movies with my friend Bill Van Ryn, who does Drive-In Asylum, which you can find on the Groovy Doom YouTube or Facebook pages. And then finally, I am on the commentary track for Ozone from Visual Vengeance, which came out, I think today or this week. It's coming out. So they're an awesome company. If you like shot on video or really weird like rental era horrors, it's a great label. There's some really like Suburban Sasquatch and just like weird movies. And I've been like super honored to like get to do the commentaries for them, because I think like shot on video and that era of VHS movies is kind of like a very unexplored territory, and it's like regional cinema all over again. So I really love getting to talk about these movies, and like anybody can like, I think this is what you find probably in your show. It's like 300 people have talked about Exorcist on IMDb or whenever you see the reviews, versus like, you know, a movie like Ozone, nobody had seen it or nobody had talking about it. So it's like unexplored territory to kind of like get into, and then not punch down on this shot on video movie, to be like, here's where it was made and here's why it was made. And we talked to the director and here's what they were going through at the time. And like we have fun with it too. Like we goof around a little bit, but like I think that I love that they put out these movies that like otherwise, like you said, like who would imagine that these movies that I rented for $5 in 1986 are now like I can get a pristine copy that looks better than anything I've ever seen before.
No, that's very cool. And like having the opportunity to get in and talk on some of those commentary tracks must be a lot of fun. So I'm definitely going to check that out.
It's been fun. I did one for De Gausser last year, which is one of Vinegar Syndrome's labels. And it was amazing because like to do like a video essay, it's on Five Dead on the Crimson Canvas that they put out. And like it was all about like where was Giallo in the 1990s and how did the format change and where does this movie fit into it? And like to get to do that is like, wow, like that's the kind of stuff that like I have to edge my way into conversations and talk about, versus like getting paid to talk about these things is kind of cool, or even, you know, just getting to be part of it and other people seeing it. So thanks. That's why like I was so excited to be on the show and get to talk about this movie, because like this is something I always want to like evangelize and tell people like, hey, but have you seen this? Like this is a good one to try to get people into.
Well, I mean, you're very articulate. You're very well educated on the subject matter and the history of not just this film, but the Italian sort of subgenre itself. So you have represented yourself and your love for this movie very, very well.
Thank you.
I feel like that is the kind of thing that comes across in the show, is like what I want is people to really talk about a movie that they love. And I think you've done that very, very well. And you've gone to bat for Yor the Hunter from the future. So, yeah. I mean,
I will be the lone defender in this. Like, I thought you were a cut. There's this guy in IMDb that gave this 10 out of 10. Oh, it's BNS about movies. Okay. What does he have to say about it? He's like, not since Ron or this other Kurosawa movie has a movie ever changed my life like Yor the Hunter from the future. And you're like, this is bullshit, Sam. And I'm like, I know, but well, thank you. That makes me feel good. God, imagine I'm trying to think of what else there's some really bad Italian movies that I would defend with my life. Lady Frankenstein, the Mummy theme park. There's some really bad ones where I'm like, I would like when I was a kid and used to rent a lot, like our torture test was Bloodsucking Freaks. And I have torture test movies where I'm like, can this person watch movies with me? And can they handle it? Yor would probably be one that I picked. And if you can watch it and get something out of it. So Nick, I'm excited that you did. Now I can now you will get to level 2 of like oh boy, I don't know if I'm ready for what level 2 Sam's World is. Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, like I said, this has been great. I think that anybody that made it to the end of this episode will hear your passion and your knowledge come through. And I hope that they would give Yor a chance at that point.
I hope so too.
Cool. Well, thank you, and have yourself a good night. All right.
Thank you.
A big thanks to Sam for coming on the show and sharing his wisdom with us. I probably would not have watched Yor the Hunter from the future on my own, so it's great to be able to check that box. But also, the best part of the show is meeting and talking to new people and giving them the opportunity to share their love and their passion for their particular bad movie fondness. Sam really delivered on all those fronts, so if you had fun with us, make sure you check out the website BNS About Movies. You can find Sam on Instagram at BNS About Movies. And then you can also check out the YouTube Groovy Doom, where you might find me in the not-too-distant future. And you can also hear Sam's commentary on that Ozone DVD that I think was released by Vinegar Syndrome. But all of that stuff is going to be one click away for you in the show notes. If you are interested in spending even more time together by becoming a contributing member, make sure to check the show notes for sign-up details. And stay tuned throughout the rest of January because we're going to be covering In Time, Virtuosity, and then our bubble pick, as I mentioned at the top of the show, is going to be Not Quite Human. Plus, the members-only tier is going to have a new Rom-Comathon episode on The Family Stone. And there's also going to be a new Baimon Sci-Fi Con on the sci-fi movie Don't Look Up. And then we're going to close the month out with Bad Movies Monthly, our recap episode at the end of January. And I might just have another trick or two up my sleeve. So until next time, stay safe, be well, and have fun however you get your movies.